Hi, everyone. My name is Salome. My pronouns are she, her. I'm calling in from the unceded territories of the Lenape in Brooklyn, New York. I'm a Black woman with straightish Black hair, and I'm wearing a dark purple turtleneck with silver hoop earrings. I'm so thrilled to be here on day one of the festival. Thank you, Roddy, Sally, Jay, Mad, and the full team at Eyebeam for organizing 4 days of conversations between artists, researchers, curators, and journalists who are really pushing us to think about our futures at the scale of individual, community, and planetary. The people you'll hear from today will inspire you. They will challenge you. They will leave you with questions that will hopefully put you on a path towards continued research and discovery. Today's program is titled Platforms for the People, which I think is just a beautiful way to kick off the festival because plainly the future starts with us. How we take care of and make space for ourselves and each other in the world lays a foundation for how we move forward. I'm here for the frameworks, models, and approaches everyone will be generously sharing today. So with that, let's introduce our first speaker, Joan Greenbaum.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Salome, and thank you, Eyebeam, for inviting me. I'm honored and pleased. I am an older white woman with strange curly white hair, blue glasses, a blue sweater, blue earrings, and I am talking to you from Putnam Valley, New York. Straight on Lenape land. So I'm going to talk about rending the fabric of the now. And as we've all learned this year, how close the now and the past are, how they got really blurred in this year of pandemic. Platforms for the Future is about the future, but we really got to talk about the past and the now. So a bit about me that the Salome didn't highlight. I have an art background and I'm extremely dyslexic. I think in color blocks. In the 60s, I met a guy in a bar whose pickup line was, "I can get you a job at IBM." And he did. And they taught me how to code and I was hooked on that. But I really suck at detail. So what I got quickly promoted into was design of programs and systems. I also am an activist and always will be. And I quickly joined Computer People for Peace. My research work has been on participatory design that I'll talk a little about later. The first project I worked at IBM opened my eyes because it was about design of a new public housing project in Harlem, which was a burning issue of the time, and now housing should be a burning issue of this time. To code it in old computer systems, we looked at, well, we actually did it in assembler language, but that's another story. We looked at the New York regulations for buildings so it could be built. And surprise, not really. What we ended up with is the rectangles of the existing housing stock. Very boring, and I'll return to that from a participatory design standpoint. The old is always embedded in the now, right now. And the distance between now and the future is only as wide as we can rupture it. And rupture is questioning, yeah? Questioning by whom, for whom. Capitalism, as we know, is about profit, but also about managerial control and power over others, power over firms, very clearly, and power over ideas. Capitalism is also about linear thinking, which is embedded in code, which is embedded in apps, which is embedded in systems thinking and design thinking. What I'm talking about here for people not really involved in technology is what lurks behind the interface, yeah? So platforms for the people are generally built out of the building blocks of the now. which is the past. Code that mimics old engineering thinking, such as if we build it, they will come. Who designed it, for whom, and why? I once worked on a patient information system in Denmark, and they said, oh, we got some building blocks here from an American system. Let's use that to start it off. Surprise. American systems are built on a billing algorithm, and Denmark health is free. So thinking dialectically, we need to see how the seeds of old are embedded in the now and get carried to the future, but we have to select the seeds wisely. My work in participatory design looks at people who have a need should have a voice in creation and in development. In the housing project, for example, people who need housing of any kind want things like community centers, shops, daycare centers. Some of this has come about now, but back then it didn't because people were not asked and they weren't involved. So what we're about here is about breaking out of the assumptions built into the algorithms and the assumptions built into, therefore, the applications that we use, and the assumptions embedded in any capitalist project. I'm excited about the Eyebeam projects, and today we're going to see Ishinshin's TogetherNet and Rashad's therapy being 1.5. Both be built on the needs that grow out of conditions now. And both look at the lived experience and the needs, and both experiment with transcending the now. In scaling up with these projects and other projects, and I think it's really the question of going from experiment to scaling up that the now and the past can really be helpful for. My experience says dig into the assumptions in the algorithms, the assumptions behind the algorithms already hidden in use. For example, in my book, In Windows on the Workplace, I talked about the program we probably all use, Word, which was built in the 80s on something called WordStar. And that was built for office automation, which was built to get rid of secretaries, which it did. So the term labor saving, of course, claims that more jobs will be created someplace else, but they're not. They simply aren't. We have a long history of proving that. So my takeaway message here is it's not really enough to imagine the future. And I'm sorry about the backlight here. We have a wonderful sunny day in Putnam Valley with lots and lots of snow. My takeaway message is to see what lurks behind the interface, to involve people whose needs and wants through their lived experience and really involve them, transcend what we know about the now. Thinking of social justice is not enough. We look at need to look through the seeds of the old that are always embedded in the new, and that clearly shape the future. Please select the seeds wisely, and thank you for your time.